Good morning. We're in the greenhouse today, and I have some daffodil bulbs here. So this is March. You don't plant bulbs in March. My wife came home with 4 or 5 of these bags last year, and so I planted them until I got tired. And I still had, I don't know how many. This says it has 50, so I probably had like 30 bulbs left. And I was tired, and I was busy, and I didn't get them planted. So what do you do with your bulbs if you don't plant them? And you can't get them planted in the fall. Probably the best thing is you just plant them. But I had too many. And so the next best thing is I stuck them in the fridge. Because if they're in the fridge, they're not going to dry up. They're not going to die. And so here it is March, and so I'm going to plant these guys. This is not the right way to do it. You always plant your bulbs in the fall. But will these grow and make a flower? Yeah. Where am I going to plant these in here? I don't really want them in here. But I guarantee you that somebody's going to come in here and they're going to see these blooming. And they're going to be thrilled. I have people who are going to be thrilled if they see these blooming in here. So I'm not going to tell them. And if they don't bloom, they'll never know. If they do bloom, they'll say, "Oh, you're such a great gardener." That'll stroke my type A personality. By the way, I don't have a type A personality. But if I did, it would stroke that ego. So I'm going to dribble some holes here. And the daffodil bulbs are pretty big. And I don't have to go super deep because we don't have really cold weather. If you have really cold weather, you want your daffodil bulbs to be pretty deep. Like outside. But the ground never freezes in here. Ever. That's the whole point of having a greenhouse. Is so that your plants, your ground doesn't freeze and you can grow plants. Anyway, here we go. Trying to make it happen. This is compacted right there. Wow. That was, couldn't get in very deep there. So let's just grab a bulb. Big old wood chip fell in there. So we're just gonna stick them in there. And we'll see what happens. That hole wasn't wide enough. Start over. Make that hole big enough so I can get this down in there. They're still firm and they're still alive. That one wasn't wide enough. I'll tell you something about flowers. They're fantastic. I'll tell you something else about flowers. You don't really eat these guys. I think these daffodils are poisonous. And I always like to eat things that are not poisonous because it seems like that's a good idea. I would rather not eat poison. So what did I do? I planted what, 6 or 7? Oh man, I still have all these to do. It's hard to be motivated when you're focused 100% on edibles. But it's very important to have little treats of beauty, little treats of kindness. Now, we dig this soil here because we have root crops. The garlic right here are root crops. So if I plant these with it, once these dry up, somebody might dig and damage these bulbs. I'm planning on keeping these bean poles here for the next 4 or 5 years until they completely rot out. A couple of these are alive, so they won't rot out. So if I put if I put a daffodil right next to this pole, then I think what's going to happen, I think that will help protect it from being dug up. Because I don't think I would put an edible plant that we're going to dig up right next to the hole. So that's a good place to put the bulb. What are we planting here this year? Let me look at my tag. Remind me. Oh, that's my pepper tag going that way. This is cucumbers. So when I come and plant the cucumbers, I'm going to put the hole on the outside, right out here, to plant the cucumber. But I could put the daffodil on the inside. And if we put them a little on the deep side, then it'll be down in there where I'm not gonna be digging. So that's a good idea. That'll be good. So if I need to remove a weed, it shouldn't be in the way. And if I'm going to dig an edible, like the garlic, or maybe I'll have onions in here. But I'm not going to grow potatoes in a bed like this. So there won't be a lot of soil disturbance. I do think we're going to have a pretty good time with this, though. This can be fun. Let's put one right next to this steel post. And it would be fun to just forget where these are and just put them randomly all over the greenhouse. And then when we do a walkthrough later on, we can just be surprised when we see the little guys growing. So if you remember on previous videos, I had the coriander here, and here's the old branch of it right now. We can take that out. We can just throw it over here. But the coriander, cilantro and coriander is the same plant. That hole was not wide enough because that was a big bulb. But my point of telling you about that coriander, look at all the cilantro that's coming up here, just thick because the seeds fell off. So I didn't have to plant this because I let some plants go to seed. So I love that about gardening, is when the only work we do is to come out here to eat. We don't have to do too much work in harvesting and planting. We just let plants kind of do their thing, which is pretty fun. Okay, hopefully this helps you to plant a random flower even though you didn't want to.